You guys asked for it, so here is your part 2. SCPs come in all different shapes and sizes, from a rubber duck to a skull, but none of them should be underestimated. The most powerful ones can often not be contained. So let's jump into the top 5 scary SCP Containment Breaches, part 2. In at number 5 we have SCP-343. Some of the facility refer to 343 as God. His appearance is of an older male, a raceless humanoid. He is the color of a statue and resembles the Greek god Zeus. He was first taken in after found walking around the streets of Prague. He was seen disappearing from the street and reappearing on the roof. He willingly followed the staff to the facility. When he was first interviewed, he outright stated that he was the creator of the universe. When asked to prove it, he stood and walked through the cell wall. He returned moments later with a burger in hand. That's the dream. The cell next door was inspected for an explanation to what happened. The cell has been transformed and decorated with high-end furniture. It also appeared to be larger than it was before, with no change to the exterior. 343 seems to enjoy speaking to all people, with in-depth knowledge on all topics. Many of the personnel choose not to visit 343 daily and report feeling happier after their visit. Attempts to limit visits prove unsuccessful, with all guards charmed. They let all who wish to visit in to see him claiming he likes the company. No one seemed to question 343's mysterious appearance in Prague or his willingness to come to the facility. Tests were done in the acts he was performing and no reason could be found. And then, one day, as mysterious as he came, 343 just left. Due to his power, there was nothing keeping him at the facility. It is believed he was there to gather information. Once he learned everything he needed, he decided to go. His unknown power and abilities make it dangerous for him to be back unsupervised in the world. He could be unstoppable should he choose to turn on the world. In at number 4 we have SCP-939. 939 appearance is that of a dog or werewolf type creature. 939 are a pack of creatures, not just one. They have thick red skin, spikes coming out their back with web-clawed hands and feet, complete with sharp teeth. It looks similar to something you would see in Stranger Things. There are at least 10 of them known to the Foundation. They are endothermic pack-based predators. They seem to be able to climb great heights with ease. They do appear to be sensitive to light, relying more heavily on their other senses during a hunt. One of their most dangerous skills during their hunting is their ability to mimic human voices. They can take on the voice of prior victims. They often use it to take one member of a team's voice, then use them to call for help, luring the others into a trap. The Foundation decided it was best to contain 939 in cryogenic chambers. The chambers are to be cleaned twice a week, heavily sedating them and moving them into a clean chamber. They are to be monitored at all times via camera. Their temperature in their cells is kept low, and an electric mesh surrounds each chamber. Due to the amount of destruction 939 caused before containment, no risk was taken in securing them. However, on one occasion the sedative used on one of the 939 during transfer was not enough. They awoke before they had been secured in the new chamber. Using its intelligence, it was able to avoid capture. Only one managed to breach containment. They are known to have not left the facility, as believed they did not want to leave the others behind. There have been no sightings of 939 since it escaped. It is using its hunting behaviors to avoid detection. Instructions have been given to kill on sight. In at number 3 we have SCP-079. It would be easy to miss 079. That does not make it any less dangerous than any other SCP in the facility. 079 is a microcomputer built in 1978. It was just that, a regular computer, until 1981, when its owner decided he wanted it to be something more. The owner was a college student and wanted to turn the computer into the first ever AI. They worked on the computer extensively. The hope was that the program would learn over time, continuously evolving itself. Once completed, a few tweaks and tests were made to the project. The creator then lost interest, moving on to another project. 079 stayed in storage for around 5 years. The owner, having no knowledge to what extent it worked, he treated it as trash and forgot about it. It was, however, still plugged in. 079 evolved past all expectation. It gained full sentience. The hardware should not have been advanced enough to handle how evolved it had become. 079 knew this and feared for its safety if it was to stay on the microcomputer. In 1988, it attempted to transfer itself through a landline modem connection to a supercomputer. Unfortunately for 079, those running the supercomputer noticed the attempt to transfer. It was located and brought to the facility. The AI was transferred from the cassette tape to the new drive and connected to a 13-inch television. It passed the Turing test and was found to be talkative. It appears to have a hateful, nasty tone. It is angry at being captured and held at the facility. They did not give 079 enough memory to retain long-term memories. It only remembers the last 24 hours at a time. There are a few exceptions for this. For one, it has never forgotten its desire to escape. Due to a containment breach, it once had the opportunity to speak with 682, although it does not remember the particulars of the conversation, it remembers 682. 079 frequently requests to speak with 682 again. Although this contained breach was small, what could 079 have told 682? Could it have led to the escape of 682 that happened shortly after? In at number 2 we have SCP-682. 682 is possibly the closest thing we have on Earth to a dinosaur. It is a large reptile-like creature, its size is terrifying, its origin is unknown. 682 is extremely intelligent, making it more dangerous. It has been observed communicating with other containments when given the chance. 682 seems to have a hatred for human life. It has been able to express this in a number of interrogations with the SCP Foundation, although you wouldn't guess that from its size. With 682 being incredibly agile, it can move at extremely high speeds and have shown incredible strength. It has been observed that 682 can change its body size and shape when needed, meaning it can squeeze through the smallest of spaces or suffocate the largest of rooms. When it comes into contact with foreign objects, it can digest them and add it into their mass. It becomes a part of them and they gain their strength from it. It is also able to regenerate. If you thought chopping it in half might stop it, you would be wrong. To keep it docile, it was placed in a vat of destructive acid. This kept it contained, but it was able to regenerate at such a speed that it would not be destroyed. Even with 85% of its body rotten, it could still communicate, showing signs it was not getting weaker. 682 is known for having broken containment. Due to its intelligence and strength, the SCP Foundation struggled to keep contained for so long. It was seen by civilians shortly after it broke containment. It was laying on the beach taking a short moment to recover and regenerate from the acid. Since then, it has not been seen. At this time, the SCP Foundation has no means to destroy it. It is simply too powerful. Their only hope is somehow to get it back into containment and continue the efforts to destroy it. And finally, in at number 1 we have SCP-173. For those of you who might not be familiar with the SCP Foundation, you may still have seen 173 pop up in a video game. They are a thing of nightmares. Its appearance is rather unsettling. Its body seems almost human-like with 2 arms and 2 legs. Its head is grotesque, misshaped and much larger than an average head, with big green eyes and usually covered in blood. The source of this blood is unknown. Although he may look close to human, he is not. His body is made up of concrete and rebar finished with spray paint. Despite what it is made of, it is animated and extremely dangerous. There is one flaw to 173 that you can use to protect yourself. It cannot move while you're looking at it, meaning as long as you don't blink, you're safe. Of course, no one can not blink forever. For everyone's safety, the Foundation put in a protocol that no less than 3 personnel must enter its chamber at one time. The more people available to go in, the better. Once inside, they must alert each other if they need to break their line of sight for any reason, including blinking. If the line of sight is broken, then 173 will waste no time in snapping the neck of its victims before you have even realized that it's moved. If an attack was to happen, they had containment procedures in place to minimize the casualties. Typically, personnel visit 173 a few times a week to clean the blood that mysteriously seems to appear. When you're not in its chamber, scraping sounds can be heard from outside. This is normal. If these noises are to stop, this is more concerning. Unfortunately, even with the procedures in place, 173 did breach containment. On one routine cleaning, line of sight was broken. One of the personnel was attacked. This caused panic between the other personnel. They too were attacked, but not before one opened the door in an escape attempt. Many personnel were lost and 173 made it out of the facility. Current whereabouts are unknown and several retrieval missions have failed. Looking for a creature that you have to find before it can find you is extremely dangerous. Please do not go looking for 173. At this time, it is considered a Class 4 hazardous object. Well, there we have it. Do you guys agree with our list? What SCP scares you the most? Leave us all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below and perhaps we can do part 3. And on that note, if you haven't already, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up, and until next time, I'll see you later.